just, first of all, thank everyone for coming out. I know it was like last minute notice, and everything did go well. I want to thank Dan Canzone, be across the street, but I just wanted to make a few comments as to why and the reason this whole thing took place. Father Kubasek spent a good portion of his life in this building. If it wasn't visiting the school children, then it might have been downstairs where there were 4 bowling alleys and 8 pool tables. Mainly, as the photos show, this hall, this auditorium, was the center of parish life and community events, second only in size to the Polish Community Center. The auditorium held school assemblies, children's Christmas pageants, graduations, boxing matches right out here, boxing matches, minstrel shows, parish dinners, variety shows. Father Kubasek's own 25th anniversary of his ordination in 1937 took place here, where 1,100 people attended. And you say, well, how did that happen? Because there were so many people that they took out all the chairs in the balcony and put tables and seats up there, and people sat up there. It was the first and only time that ever happened. I was 7 when he died, but his younger brother was very close to him and told me a lot of stories and anecdotes. That's my father. I remember one in particular where Father Kubasek was inspecting the school as it was being built, and determined the builder, George T. Kelly, was putting up an inferior wall according to specs in the gymnasium. Father Kubasek made him rip it down and stick to the specs. They say the stress of building the school and the depression come into place may have contributed to his ever-increasing blindness. The pastor who succeeded Father Kubasek in 1950 after his death paid off the remaining debt of $250,000 in 7 years, but marveled how Father Kubasek could have paid off the first $250,000 during the Depression and then World War II. Photos show him under this arch outside, not only with 8th grade graduation classes, but visiting dignitaries, General Milan Stefanik, Father Andrew Hlinka, all leaders in Slovakia, where Father Kubasek was instrumental in helping to create the Republic of Czechoslovakia in 1918. War bonds were sold here and down on Hudson Street for the cause of the war. While the building was always Most Holy Trinity School, it closed as a school in 1986 and sold in 1997, where it is now 44 units of senior housing under its second owner. However, under the perpetual lease, Most Holy Trinity Parish keeps it for $1 a year, and we pay our own gas and electric, and Mr. Scrooge, myself here, we keep that gas and electric down. This auditorium hall, now known as the Reverend John J. Kubasek Memorial Hall, will be under the Church of St. John the Baptist / Most Holy Trinity until 2016, and then a new parish name. However, the hall will always be the Reverend John J. Kubasek for continuity. And that way, both parishes together will be able to utilize this hall. And since in 2016 the name will no longer exist, Most Holy Trinity, it's important that the auditorium and the hall have a reference. We can develop to be more active, not only as alumni, you saw those cards, Friends of Holy Trinity, as Ray Barone, the Parish Council President, organized, but multifaceted for the community. I will say that this hall was used by the city of Yonkers in the 70s for the spring dance for senior citizens, and at no charge, this hall was well known throughout the city. There were many wedding receptions here, and there were many things that took place here in over the last number of years. Big bands played here. Paul Whiteman played here during the time when they had the variety shows. So it's a historic place, and the building is an historic landmark, but it's a historic place, and we like to keep it as long as St. John the Baptist Most Holy Trinity exists, And then even under the new name, it'll hope to have some continuity, because there was no provision for it to go back to the owner. So we might as well hold on to it. Thank you very much for coming out for this. And Dan, I thank you. I didn't know where you went. I thank Dan Tanzone, but you might as well come up here for the say.
Thank you, Steve. Just a few remarks. It's a historic day for the community here to dedicate this hall to Father John Kubasek, the individual who had the foresight to build this beautiful center in the parish and spent his entire priesthood, all 38 years of his priesthood, was spent here in Most Holy Trinity. And he was an outstanding leader. As you know, I'm the editor of one of the Slovak publications. In January, the Slovak government sends us a press release about important events in the coming year. And in the press release, it reminded us that 2015 was the 130th anniversary of the birth of Father John Kubasek. It also reminded us that in June would be the 65th anniversary of his death. So it's interesting to note, Father Kubasek left Slovakia, it was then Austria-Hungary, in 1902 and never returned, yet they never forgot him. In his home village of Stara Lvovna, that's a village up near the Polish border, I visited there. A few years ago, they dedicated a plaque on the city hall in his memory to Father John Kubasek because of his efforts in helping to create Czechoslovakia. He helped to free the Slovaks and the Czechs from the Austro-Hungarian authorities, where the minorities had absolutely no voice. They were dominated by the Austrians and the Hungarians. So it's interesting for us today, as we say farewell to the parish that he so loved, that his name will continue, and then hopefully we will still have an opportunity to gather here together for different activities. So again, I commend everybody for coming out, especially our Father Anthem for blessing it, and our former pastor, Father Anthony, for joining us here. It's a bit of history. We look forward to still gathering together here in this hall, now known as Father John Kubasek Memorial Hall.
I just wanted to acknowledge again the presence of Father Anthony Plejo. As he said, my uncle built the school, he sold the school. But you know what? It had to be done, and this was the most unique sale of a building, and not only the whole Archdiocese of New York, but downtown in the real estate division of the Archdiocese. They told me no place in New York State did a sale of a building ever take place where the former owner kept it for $1 a year and paid their own gas and electric. And thanks to Father Plejo, Jim Holodak was trustee then, Helen Minchak, yours truly, we were all in our meetings. They wanted to give us this much of a hall. We got basically 98% of the hall, and Father Plejo helped negotiate and sign the papers for that. So I guess you focused in. Father, come up here just so you get your face here in the video for posterity. So we thank Father for that also. And we want to mention too, 2 years ago, we were recognized by the Yonkers Philharmonic Orchestra. This was the birthplace of the Yonkers Philharmonic Orchestra, on the basis of the fact that Monsignor Noviosky played the fiddle, and he allowed the hall to be used for rehearsal and for the concerts. Steve, set up the chairs. You got to set up the chairs on the stage for the orchestra. Set up the chairs in the hall. And that was how far back and more than that I go. But the Yonkers Philharmonic Orchestra, that's still in existence, started here at the Most Holy Trinity. So we have a lot of history here. All right, thanks. Thank you.